Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruh. Wa na'udhu billahi min shururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina. Wa man yahdihillahu fala mudilla lahu wa man yudlil fala hadiya lahu. Wa ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu. Wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتون إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما أما بعد فإن خير الحديث كتاب الله والحديث حديث الله وهدي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. It recited as follows that all praises are due to Allah. We praise Him, we beseech Him for help, we ask for His protection. We seek refuge in Allah from the mischief of our souls and from the unsuccessfulness of our deeds. And whomsoever He guides, there is no one that can lead him astray. And whomsoever He causes to err, as a result of his own actions, there is no one that can lead him aright. And I bear witness that there is no God but Allah. He has no partners nor associates, and I bear witness that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is His messenger. O you who believe, be careful of your duty to Allah with the care which is due to Him and only Him, and do not die unless you are Muslim. And O people, be careful of your duty to your Lord who created you from a single being, created his mate from the same kind, and spread from these two many men and women. Be careful of your duty to Allah by whom you demand one of another of your rights into the ties of relationship. Truly Allah is forever watchful over you. And O you who believe, be careful of your duty to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and speak the right words to each other. He will put your deeds into a right state for you and forgive you your faults. And whosoever obeys Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they will indeed achieve a mighty success. Certainly after this, the best speech is the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The best guidance is the guidance of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the worst of all things and affairs are newly invented matters in religion. For all newly matters in religion are innovations in religion. All innovations in religion are astray, and all astray will lead you directly to the hellfire. Again, my brothers and sisters in Islam, I bid you on this beautiful Jummah afternoon in the words of peace. Assalamu alaikum. You know, brothers and sisters, we as Muslims, as believers, we aspire to do and be many things in our lives. And often very noble things we aspire to do. But we are also often caught up in what I call the web of our own desires. We get caught up in the web of our own creation, in the pits of our own diggings. Our hopelessness and our narrow thinking, we get caught up in a lot of times. It is our own struggles as true believers in Allah, the struggle of our minds and our souls to undo these webs. To undo these webs, and what we should strive to do is widen our own horizons. This is what this Islam is all about. Widening our horizons, developing, increasing ourselves in knowledge, and then taking that knowledge and implementing hikmah, wisdom. Through what? Through action. Through action, brothers and sisters. This was the message of the great scholar of Iqbal, the great Muslim poet, philosopher. He made a statement. He says, I love those young men who attempt to climb up to the stars. This is a statement that he made. And in another couplet, he expresses the limitlessness of a Muslim's ambition. And he says, O Muslim, you are a caravan to whom the heavenly stars are like dust on the way. Now, I make these statements for a reason. Because when you think about this, political, economic, or military defeat does not defeat us. We, brothers and sisters, are defeated only when we as individuals choose to overwhelm ourselves by our external circumstances, and then we begin to lose hope. And then we begin to lose hope in Allah and aspire to nothing but petty, little material things. Everything is centered around this materialistic, capitalistic society that we live in. And true, we are limited by external. We are limited by internal conditions created by Allah. But I made a statement a long while ago. And the statement that was made is to say Allah will not ask us for what we are incapable of doing. And philosophical hair splitting aside, where we draw the line between the possible and the impossible is a matter of what is nowadays called our attitude. Our attitude, how we in reality see things with our attitude. And as we know that people have different attitudes. They have optimistic attitudes. Optimistic attitudes are attitudes like being hopeful. They have pessimistic attitudes. Pessimistic attitudes are being hopeless. You have no hope for nothing, you see. Then we have that realistic attitude, having a balance of hope and caution, and that's geared toward achieving some practical goals, precisely because of where we as individuals draw the line between the possible and the impossible. I gave a story a while ago that a man asked Hazrat Ali, may Allah be pleased with him, asked Ali ibn Abi Talib about something like where to draw this line. In other words, what actions will Allah hold him accountable for? What actions will Allah hold him accountable for? And so the wise Caliph responded, and he asked the man a question. He asked the man to stand up. And so the man stood up and he lifted, and he told him to lift one leg up. The man stood up and he lifted his one leg. And then he asked the man, okay, now lift the other leg while you're lifting that one. And so the man became a bit puzzled. He became a bit puzzled. You see, the man expressed his inability to lift the one leg as he was lifting the other leg. And so the great Caliph said to him, he said, Allah will ask you about the first leg He won't ask you about the second. He only will ask you about what you are capable of doing, not what you are incapable of doing. So this practical, realistic attitude, brothers and sisters, is the characteristic of the Islamic version and vision of life. That Islam just only asks us what we're capable of doing. But we, for some odd reason, make Islam a very difficult task on us, as though it's impossible for us to do the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking us to do. But this still does not answer the exact question of where to draw the line. Because the answer is impossible to generalize. The answer has to be specific to each of us as individuals, to each soul. What's good for me might not be good for you. What I might do, you might not do. What you do correct, it may be seen to other individuals as incorrect. So it's an individual specific to each individual. And this is exactly the point of all of it. It is up to us, brothers and sisters, to set our goals. It is up to us as individuals to define our horizons. We all have to do that. It is our challenge to not sell ourselves too short, like many of us do, by narrowing our limits, selling ourselves too short by declaring too quickly that whatever we're doing that is impossible for us to do, or it's impossible that we can't do it, you see. So as human beings, we have been charged with the task of knowing the limits of our God-given faculties. We've been charged with that, you see. Knowing that Allah has given us all generously in various ways. And we have to appreciate what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us, you see. Now here is where a key Islamic attitude comes in. Hope in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's mercy. I hope every day that Allah extends His mercy on me. And we all should have that hope, you see, that Allah extends His mercy on us. Those are some of the limits, that we have. Hope in Allah's power and love for those who have faith in Him. You see, brothers and sisters, it was the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's tremendous attitude. It was his attitude. It was his limitless hope in Allah. And that attitude was coupled with a realistic attitude that transformed people around him. People loved him because he reflected a positive image through his actions. And that's what we as Muslims, all of us, should be doing. Everyone who we come into contact should always want to be Muslims. You see, I'm proud of one of the fathers who just accepted Islam. Just straight outright accepted Islam. He's sitting here today. And because of his actions, his daughters that were non-Muslims said, "Look, Dad, can I go to the mosque with you?" Because of his actions. Can I come to the mosque with you? I want to know what being Muslims is like. Now, they're not old enough in terms of puberty, but they see a reflection on their father. As everyone should see a reflection on everyone who claims La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. Every person should see a reflection on those people who claim that through what? Through their actions, through their study, through their efforts. This is what this deen is all about, you see. It was the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's attitude that transformed people around him. It's our attitude that transforms people around us when we say we're Muslims. Kabab ibn Arat narrates, he said, we complain to Allah's messenger of the persecution He said, we complained of the persecution inflicted on us by the infidels. And we were sitting in the shade of the Kaaba, we were leaning on his cloak, and we asked the Prophet, we said to him, would you seek help for us? It's though to say that we're getting land blasted. We're getting beat up, we're getting murdered, all of these things are happening to us, but Ya Rasul, please, seek help for us. Ya Rasul, would you call upon Allah for us? And so, the response of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Prophet sallallahu responded, he says, among the nations before you, he says, among the nations before you, a believing man would be put in a ditch, and that ditch would be dug for him, and a saw would be put over his head, and he would not make him give up his religion. They would try to cut the man's head off, and this man who's being beheaded would continue to say, Ahad. Ahad. You up here complaining about all these little things, and this man is in a grave about to get his head cut off, and he's saying one Allah. He's saying one Allah. The Prophet said this man's body would be combed with iron combs. This man's body would be separated from his flesh, from his bones to his nerves, yet that would not make him abandon his religion. And then you know what he said to the brother who asked the question? He says, by Allah, this religion of Islam is going to prevail. This religion of Islam is going to prevail so much that a traveler from Sana'a to Hadramaut, both places are in Yemen, will fear none but Allah. And then he said, or a wolf as regard his sheep. But you people, he says, you people are very hasty. You want it all quick. You want it right now. That was during the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Isn't it true that we want everything right now, quick, fast, and in a hurry? You see. But we all know that we are given only one life. We're only given one life, brothers and sisters. Yet, it is surprising that so many of us are willing to sell ourselves so short. So short. But Allah has decreed. Allah has decreed in this Quran. He says, it is I and my apostle who must prevail. كَتَبَ اللَّهُ لَأَغْلِبَنَّ أَنَا وَرَسُولِي. That's what he said. Inna laha qawiyyun aziz. He says, because Allah is one full of strength, and he's able to enforce his will. That is the ayah that we should believe and trust in and have hope in. That Allah is the ultimate controller. So look, brothers and sisters, we can create our own horizons or we can destroy them. It's up to us, inshallah. May Allah make it easy for us. He's given us this religion of Al-Islam. Let us take advantage of what he has given us. Let us practice it. Let us practice it. Let us follow it. Let us preach it. And let's take action on it, inshallah. May Allah bless all of us and keep us as Muslims and believers forever, inshallah. Alhamdulillah نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا ومن يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. اللهم انصر من نصر دين محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وجعلنا منهم. اللهم كمن خذل دين محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم ولا تجعلنا منهم. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. All praises are due to Allah. We praise Him. We seek His assistance and His protection. We believe in Him and we trust in Him. And we take us to refuge to Allah against the evils of our minds and against the unsuccessfulness of our actions. And whomsoever He guides, there is no one that can lead him astray. And whomsoever He causes to stray, there is no one that can guide him. We ask Allah, oh Allah, help those who help the religion of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and number us among them. And oh Allah, bless Muhammad and the followers of Muhammad as thou did bless Ibrahim and the family of Ibrahim. For surely thou art praised and magnified. O Allah, exalt Muhammad and the family of Muhammad as thou did exalt Ibrahim and the family of Ibrahim, for surely thou art praised and magnified. In the second khutbah, brothers and sisters, there is this place. You ever heard of this place? They call, you may have heard me give this statement before, make a mention of this place. They call it Vanuatu. Vanuatu. It exists on the earth. Well, I hadn't heard about Vanuatu until I read about it in the British think tank. This British think tank was this new economic foundation that named this particular place, Vanuatu, as the happiest country on earth. And I said, the happiest country on earth? And when they said the happiest country on earth, I had to go a little bit more into my reading. I wanted to know why in this entire earth, that this particular one little spot was known as the happiest country on earth. Well, it existed in South America, the South Pacific Ocean. It topped, number one, a list of 178 countries ranked according to other people's well-being and its consequences, environmental impact. That's what the reading stated. Their secret, according to the writer, this guy by the name of Mark Lowen of Vanuatu Online. If you go to Vanuatu Online, you can look up this guy by the name of Mark Lowen. He says the reason for this is that these people are generally happy there because they are satisfied with very little. And I thought about it. The happiest time of my life is when I lived with my grandparents at a young age and we had very little. I mean, when I say very little, we had a lot of individuals in our family, and when we had a meal, you better be at the table. Because if you weren't there at the time the meal was presented to us, you would be left out. But that was the happiest time of my life. All the money that I make now, all the riches that I have now can't even compare with me growing up with almost nothing. And I thought about this. These people were happy because they had very little. They had very little. And as I thought, wasn't that what Muslims are taught? Wasn't that what Muslims were taught? You see? The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, blessed is he who is guided to Islam and whose livelihood is daily bread and who is contented. We're not contented with just daily bread today, brothers, are we? Sisters. We want a little bit more than bread. But that's what the Prophet's statement was. It is as if these are the three principles of living a truly happy life. Of living a truly happy life. These people didn't have no frets about paying the mortgage for that penthouse. You see these houses, we got $200,000, $300,000 houses. We stay away from Allah so much because if we don't work hard as we can to keep that house up, we lose it. But we forget about something else. We forget about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We're working so hard that we forget about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Because we're trying to keep up with the Joneses. With the Joneses. No frets about paying the mortgage for that penthouse. No frets about wearing the latest designer clothing. No frets about dining at the posh restaurants. They didn't have no frets. Why? Because they didn't need a lot. The real blessing, brothers and sisters, lies in that you wake up today as Muslims, that you have lunch in your refrigerator, and not just that, but you are content with what you have, with what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you. That's what being Muslim is about, being content. Because self-sufficiency, you see, self-sufficiency does not mean plenty of provisions. That's not what sufficiency is. As the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam explained, but it implies self-sufficiency of spirit. That's what we're talking about. Self-sufficiency of spirit. That if we remain unpleased with what we have, we will always live a life of worries. We will always live a life of worries. Somebody got up this morning and they were stressed out because they weren't able to pay the bills. Because they done did something a little bit too much on one end. They had to make up the difference from the other and they didn't have enough. Then they borrowed some money from somebody else. Then the person who they borrowed money from needs his money back. The time that you still don't have it. So guess what? Now you got double stress. You see these things? I have witnessed my fair share of housewives whose husbands earn lots, complaining of not having enough money. I have had my share of people who have been very wealthy, millionaires, who rival Uncle Scrooge, who rival him. And equally, nothing can make us relish in what we possess if we are never satisfied. If we are never satisfied with it. You see, brothers and sisters, we will not be grateful for the healthy body if we always find fault with the crooked nose. If we always find fault with our chubby little bellies. If we always find fault in our small little fingers. People do, they find fault. And they try to correct it. They get plastic noses. They get new boobs, breasts. They're not satisfied with what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us. You see? They're not satisfied. We will not thank Allah for landing the good job because we will always wonder if, had we waited longer, we could have had a better job. That's the mindset of people. And further, as the study goes, in our pursuit of happiness, we are not only slowly failing ourselves, but the earth on which we live in. We're failing this earth big time because of our greed. We're overfishing. We're doing everything we don't have no business doing, and then we're throwing away. We're throwing away. By seeking it through riches, we don't even appreciate the beauties of Allah's creation and His blessings. We don't appreciate it. We save to build a high-maintenance swimming pool, but what's that high-maintenance swimming pool compared to Allah's vast oceans and His long streams? What's that compared to? I was out in the country the other day, and I happened to be looking at the land, just looking into the sky. I said, look how beautiful this is. Yet, how much do we appreciate what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us? You see, we look to buy that full option SUV, but what is the world's best car compared to 2 functioning legs for a man or a woman? What would you rather have? A Bentley that's worth $162,000 or 2 fresh pair of legs? We don't thank Allah for these things, you see. We wish we had a lot of money. We wish we had a lot of money to spend freely, but could a 6-figure income bring back that person, your mother or father who's passed away? These are things, brothers and sisters, we need to reflect on. We need to contemplate, because such greed for money has brought us ruin from the beginning of time. From the beginning of time. But it remains a part of our own nature. It remains a part of our nature, as the Prophet ﷺ said. He said, if the Son of Man had 2 vast plains full of wealth, he would yet long for a third. And nothing fills the innermost part of the Son of Man but dust. And what he meant by that is, he said, death. So let me conclude, brothers and sisters. Happiness, you see, happiness does not have everything to do with wealth. It doesn't have everything to do with wealth. Think about it. Have we not seen the rich woman who committed suicide? Filthy rich. Michael Jackson was probably the biggest philanthropist ever known in the United States. In the United States, Whitney Houston, she was filthy rich, committed suicide, or died on some type of drug, something. They weren't happy in reality with themselves. Not many of these people who have a lot of money are in reality happy with themselves, are happy with themselves. Have you ever seen the wealthy man who was murdered for his riches? And the person who murdered him wasn't happy when he got the riches, because he saw that murdered man's face every single day. Every single day. You see? Even on this list, from Italy to Japan to Great Britain to the United States, most wealthy nations could not grace the ranks of a happier half. You see, brothers and sisters, in this mindless race, in this mindless, I say mindless, people don't think, in this mindless race towards increase in wealth, we as human beings miss out on the great happiness that results from the smallest things. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam accordingly advised. He says the little that suffices is better than what is abundant and alluring. That's his comment. That's his statement. The little that suffices is more important than the abundance things and the more alluring things. You see? So true happiness is to appreciate what you have. Whatever you have, appreciate it. You know, the old people used to say, appreciate what you get. They used to say that. I didn't never know what they were talking about, appreciate what you get. That's the slang term for it, but it's the same term. Whatever you have, appreciate it. You see? We Muslims know, though, that even contentment is not enough for a happy life. But the key ingredient is belief. The key ingredient is the belief in La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. That's the key. Brothers and sisters, that is the key for all of us. I don't care what nationality you are, what rank, what culture, whatever it is, there is none other than one Allah. And the Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is his messenger. That's true happiness. That's true happiness that will get us straight into Jannah if we act on it. What did Allah Ta'ala say? Whoever does righteousness, whether male or female, while he is a believer, we will surely cause him to live a good life. So brothers and sisters, for the sake of a happier life and a blissful afterlife as well, the people of Vanuatu will be wise to give it a try. They'll be wise to give this Islam a try, inshallah. May Allah bless us. May Allah keep us as Muslims. May Allah give us the understanding of Islam so that we can act on it in our private as well as our public life, inshallah.